Okay. I feel like this video, it's like on something on my screen. I feel like this video is to speak to the exhaustion that I think so many of us are experiencing. And it's this like exhaustion from continuously having to endure through spiritual warfare, right? This season of your life, particularly waiting on God, right? And I feel like the Lord, and I feel this, he wants to validate your suffering and what you have gone through, like He's validating mine. And there's something I really like about Him where He doesn't compare between the two, but He seems to be intimately involved in each person's suffering and validates and honors their suffering and what they have gone through. The measure in which is required, it seems, I guess, to produce what He wants to produce with it. But this is to the exhaustion. The exhaustion speaks to the cost that we have paid, that we are continuing to pay, to be conformed to the image of His Son. It's like I didn't set out, and this is me personally, I did not set out and said, I will pay this great cost. I didn't know the cost in which I was going to pay. I didn't know what I was going to have to endure. He said, follow me. He touched me in a desperate place. I said, I will follow you. You have life. And I think this is how it is for people. But if it's not for you, it's not for you. I'm finding that things that are applicable to others are not always applicable to me. And that's okay. But I found it that He touched me in desperation. And that love beckoned me to Him. And then as I'm following Him, there's this grace that meets me in this place to keep going, in a place that I could not keep myself going or keep myself motivated. And over time, this is compounded, like if you think about compounding interest or whatever, right? A continual investment in one thing is yielding this great cost, this cost of suffering, this cost that has brought great exhaustion to you, to me. That it seems to be the purpose of it, or one of the purposes of it, is whenever the Word speaks about being predestined to be conformed to the image of His Son. It's like we will have to suffer like He has suffered. We will have to pay the cost. And I think in this place where there's continuous spiritual warfare, you're taken deeper and deeper into knowing Him and knowing yourself. The spiritual warfare that seems to be designed to be the tool to break off all the pieces that are not you. So you're being taken deeper and deeper, and there's certain levels of depth that require a breaking down of certain things. And so you say yes to that, and then it costs you. You say yes to that, and then it costs you. And you look back, and you're like, wow, this has cost me so much. And the difficulty that I am finding, being very exhausted, and yesterday I was just like, God, I need extra grace or something. I got into 2025, and I was like, I didn't think I was going to make it here. And I certainly didn't think that it was going to be in the same place that I was at. I thought something would be different. I don't know how much more I can do this. And I know I've said that to you many, many times. But damn, I don't know. And you just know the exhaustion. And you know your day to day. And it feels like it rubs on you in the same way continuously. Like spiritual warfare has come in and rubbed me at my weakest places so much that my bones, this is why I think I'm having to shift my phone or whatever, because I hurt my shoulders or something. My bones feel brittle. I feel weak. I'm exhausted. I feel like He's just like, yes, there are so many that had said yes to me that are paying a great cost to be conformed to the image of my Son right now. And they don't know what's on the other side. And the cost, the great exhaustion on your soul becomes so overwhelming You can't think of anything past that point, at least not for me. This is where I'm just like, God, like I give up, but it doesn't seem to matter. He is not having me continue in this way where I'm going to miss out on something. At least that's how he appears to be. But the spiritual warfare is telling me all these different other things. So I'm being pressed down all the ways. And it's fine to be pressed down for a minute, but to be pressed down continually for an extended period of time, that does something to the spirit. I think that is where we become crushed in our spirits. And I'm experiencing that. And I'm like, why? He's like, you don't know what's on the other side. I know what's on the other side. What makes it difficult for you and for me is we don't know what's waiting for us. We don't know what this cost is actually going to produce, what this investment's actually going to yield a harvest in the future. He just says, trust me, follow me, you'll see. Trust me, follow me, you'll see. But I feel that. I feel that for myself, and I feel that for other people. And I'm looking at, I'm scrolling on my phone or whatever, right? There's like the whole Passion Conference thing that was going on, the Christian concert conference thing. And I'm like, that's cool. It's never really been my thing. But there's this one person who was talking about how like the girls are like looking for like hot man of God guys or something. And he's like, well, you need to keep your eyes on the prize. It's not about them. And I'm like, this is how it seems to work. You come to know of your desperation. It may be at the Passion Conference 2025, right? Where God touches you and you come alive in a way that you've never come alive before. It's the invitation onto the narrow road with him. And those that have been walking a little while on the narrow road know more about it than those that are just beginning. Those that are just beginning, like I was just beginning, didn't know of the great cost that I was going to have to pay. But that grace gently this is why the days seem to be separated every 24 hours or whatever. It's like it's not all at once. It's a day-to-day thing. But there are those that are just beginning the journey. And I would say, well, it doesn't really matter. What will happen is you will come to know of your desperation, your need for him in whatever way that's translated to you. And then you will follow him. And then you will find yourself on the narrow road with him. And the narrow road will come with a cost. And it will take you deeper than the surface level things. And you will find him in this deep place. And then your curiosity to know him in a deep place and know yourself in a deep place. And you will be given new desires that then put to death old desires. It seems to be the work of the Holy Spirit. It's not all the things that we're running around doing. It seems to be the cost. And it will come with an exhaustion. And I am on the road where I'm exhausted. And I'm like, I don't know what's on the other side for me. It could be tomorrow. It could be today. It could be 10 years. I can't think that far ahead. Like it's like triggering for me. I'm like, I can only be like right here. And right now, I feel the exhaustion. But I feel like the Lord's just like, this is what it costs to be conformed to the image of my Son. But whenever you are conformed to the image of my Son, you will see yourself the way that I've always seen you, the way that I see my Son. There will be harmony and integration between us because of the tool of spiritual warfare that's actually coming in and chipping off all of the darkness of your perspective, right? Your eye becoming singular and full of light so that you can see. And in seeing, you'll be set free. This just seems to be the cost of being set free. Free like Jesus is free. Knowing and not being confused. No longer confused you will be about how the Father really feels about you. And I think when this happens, there will be a breakthrough. And you will not have the influence of spiritual warfare influence you the same way. Because we're only influenced the way that we're influenced because we're coming to know something. We're being stretched into becoming something. But we are becoming something. And when we become, we're not going to be influenced like when we were becoming.